Late last year, I was in the market for a new laptop. The choices that came to mind when I started looking around were Intel this and AMD that. This wasn't new to me, as it's been the same for years in the world of computers. So, I set a budget, hopped on my laptop from 2012, and started looking around at what would be the best bang for my modest buck. Before I got too far down the rabbit hole of different laptops, I took a breather, refilled my coffee, and typed in apple.ca. Now, Jonathan from 2012 would be livid, but Jonathan from 2012 was also a different person. Younger, 60 pounds heavier, and had ambitions of ruling the world. That person would have never considered an Apple computer, even if it guaranteed him world domination. Young and stupid aside, I was very against Apple for so many years, not giving them the time of day even if they asked. Fast forward to 2020, and Apple releases the M1 chip in their laptops, ushering in a new era of computing with numerous benefits over not only their competitors, but even their own laptops from yesteryear. What's up everyone, I'm Jonathan from Jopatech, and this is my review of the M1 MacBook Air from a lifelong PC user. The M1 MacBook Air is a beautiful machine. Weighing in at 2.8 pounds and made of 100% recycled aluminum, the MacBook Air is a treat to hold in your hands, as that cold metal reminds you that this isn't some random hunk of plastic. Aluminum is light but sturdy, so don't let the 0.63-inch thickness have you thinking this will break with a simple bend test. I must say I do enjoy carrying this laptop around my apartment and even propping it up on my lap when I'm on the couch. Sandwiched between those two slabs of metal lies a 13.3-inch Retina display and the full-size Magic Keyboard. The True Tone LED backlit IPS panel measures in at 2560 by 1600 with 227 ppi and a max brightness of 400 nits. Viewing angles are great, and even at 60 Hz refresh rate, this screen looks very crisp and sharp. Streaming videos looks great, and typing out a script on Word with dark mode turned on has contrasting colors popping for the pleasure of your peepers. Even in direct sunlight, the MacBook Air screen is still visible, albeit not the best. The Magic Keyboard is an absolute pleasure to type on, and the key travel is so satisfying. Typing on my 8-year-old laptop after using this MacBook Air felt wrong, if that makes any sense. My fingers have a very easy time typing on the Magic Keyboard, and it's just so smooth. The Trackpad is also the best one I've used probably ever. Playing around with various trackpads on other laptops proved to me that Apple made sure they invested properly into this. I have no need or desire to use a mouse with this Mac, even when editing on iMovie. It's smooth, supports multi-finger input and gestures, and multitasking becomes a breeze once you get used to the finger shortcuts. Powering the MacBook Air is Apple's very own in-house M1 chip. I have the base model, which comes with the 8-core CPU, 7-core GPU, and 16-core neural engine. All this paired with 8GB unified memory and a 256GB SSD makes for one smooth running machine. I have yet to experience any stutters or hiccups in my everyday use, and so far, that is a big thing for me. I'm used to a 5-second hiccup when my old laptop auto-saves my Word document, or when I just want to open my emails. The MacBook Air is upgradable at time of purchase with the same CPU, but with an 8-core GPU. You can also upgrade the RAM to 16GB and the SSD all the way up to 2TB, although the price will start to climb very fast. In my everyday use, I found these specs to be exactly what I needed, even when pushing the machine and getting the device hot, which in turn will throttle down the CPU to prevent overheating. I would save your money, buy the base model, and just buy an external hard drive for way less than it would cost to upgrade this machine. Like all other Apple products, the M1 MacBook Air comes with a plethora of accessibility options, including voice control, increased contrast, text-to-speech, zoom, and more. And since we are living in the future, and most business is done virtually, a front-facing camera is a must. Unfortunately, the M1 MacBook Air comes with only a 720p HD camera, so video quality isn't the greatest, but it'll get the job done on any Zoom call or FaceTime call. And to be honest, that's all you're really going to use this camera for, unless you want to make a pixelated snuff film. Then all the power to you. Although the 3-array microphone setup works great, plugging in an external mic will get you excellent recording quality. Listening back to your beautifully recorded voice can be done via 3.5mm headphone jack located on the right side of the machine. On the left, you get two Thunderbolt 3 USB 4 Type-C connectors, which is also your charging ports. If you need to connect multiple accessories at once, you will need to invest in a USB hub. You don't have to spend a fortune on a hub, just make sure it's USB 3 and you will see consistent speeds if transferring large files or want to plug in legacy devices with USB-A. The M1 MacBook Air is powered by a 49.9 watt-hour lithium polymer battery and is charged via a 30-watt USB-C wall adapter. Apple claims up to 18 hours of Apple TV playback and 15 hours of wireless web browsing. As for my everyday use, I have been very pleased with battery life. A normal day of mine consists of Microsoft Office, streaming YouTube, and editing my videos on iMovie. With a light load like this, my battery drains much slower than a sloth with the runs. On one charge, I can have my MacBook Air last up to 3 days with light daily usage. The only time I drain the battery life quickly is when using OBS to capture game footage for my Xbox. With an external mic, webcam, and a game capture card plugged in, my battery drops down from 100% to about 69% after an hour of game recording. I must mention, the machine does get hot during these recording sessions. You can feel the heat on either side of the trackpad, however, this is the only time I ever get the machine running this hot. Any other time, it runs very cool, even with a lack of fans. My overall experience with the 2020 M1 MacBook Air is very positive. So far, my expectations are being met, and it's always a pleasure to open the screen and start working away instantly. Jonathan from 2012 did in fact fancy the Air series thanks to its slim design and ability to go toe-to-toe with the big girls. As you can see, not a lot of differences or changes other than the Apple logo lighting up on the old ones and a couple more older legacy ports. Overall, very similar. On the 2010 Air, you get a MagSafe charger, SD card reader, 2 USB-A plugs, mini display port, and a headphone jack. Even with these extra connections, the Air still maintained a very slim profile. Having only 2 USB Type-C connectors on the M1 MacBook Air might be a deterrent for some, but as I mentioned earlier, you can purchase a USB hub. The old Mac Air runs smooth on OS X Yosemite and is still being used daily today, so it gives me good hope knowing my 2020 M1 will still be functional in the years to come, even after its last update. Thanks to how unified Apple's internals are with their in-house M1 chip, the 2020 MacBook Air can render videos on iMovie quickly. I've only rendered 720 and 1080p videos, but I must say it moves fast. A 45-minute game capture took just under 2 minutes to render in 720p. Since video editing was my main reason for buying a new laptop, I can say with certainty, this was a very smart purchase. The smooth typing experience, the amazing trackpad, the crisp display, and the slim form factor. As I mentioned in my unboxing and first impressions video, I am a lifelong PC user. Purchasing the M1 MacBook Air felt different, but not in a bad way. Hearing what others were saying on YouTube about the performance compared to similarly priced laptops opened my eyes and my wallet to the world of Apple computers. If any of you are old enough to remember the old Mac versus PC commercials, I was in a parody of those. I played PC and I fit the role perfectly. Link to that video in my video description. I am happy to recommend the M1 MacBook Air to anyone looking for a very capable machine that will introduce you to the world of Apple. Yes, here in Canada it starts at $12.99 for the same base model as mine, but in comparison to its Intel counterparts from before, this is a very good deal. If you want a machine to tackle anything you might throw at it, the 2020 M1 MacBook Air is for you. Thank you once again for joining me on my review of the 2020 M1 MacBook Air. If you're a lifelong PC user like I was and you're considering making the switch, I hope this video was helpful for you. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and ding that notification bell, and if you haven't already, click over here to check out my unboxing of this M1 MacBook Air. I'm Jonathan from Jopatech, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye! Although the 3-array Rycophone, I can have my MacBook Air last up through... excuse me.